The cost of living here in the United States is currently unsustainable. And today, I'm going to show you examples of exactly that. But not only that, we're also going to go into detail as to why this is only going to get worse before it gets better. If you are one of those people that's currently struggling to pay your bills, to put food on the table, and just keep up with your rent or your mortgage, then you need to watch this video because I'm going to explain what's going on, but what we are likely to see over the next 6 months. So make sure you stick around and watch this entire video, and I'll explain exactly what is going on. But first, before I do, all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So the cost of living here in the United States is unsustainable. That is not coming from me. That's coming from many financial experts. That's also coming from economists here in the US as well. Just look at this. This is an article from CBS News that says most Americans don't earn enough to afford basic cost of living, according to an analyst. The basic cost of living. This is rent, this is food, these are medical or insurance. Most people do not make enough to afford the basics, just the basics. But it's actually getting worse. Look at this right here. Okay, I want to play you some clips. Look at this.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it is currently unsustainable.
But why is it unsustainable? It's unsustainable because prices keep going up. As prices go up, people actually make a little bit more money. Your employer may be reaching out and saying, hey, good news, you've been working really hard this past few months, so we're going to give you a 15-cent raise. You know why they're doing it? It's not because you're working hard. It's not because they're making more money. No, it's because they don't want you to leave. That's why. Employers know if they can hold on to their employees, they will not have to pay as much. But if those employees leave and new people come in, well, they have to pay more. According to the most recent report from the jobs report just this past week, we learned that people that stayed in their job, they got a raise of about 4.2%. Okay, not bad. But for people that changed positions, went to new companies, they actually got a raise of about 7% year over year. That's why employers don't want you leaving. That's why they're giving you raises. But look at this, because it's not just when people are making more money, but as you make more money, you normally spend more money. That's just the way it works, and that's history. Okay, we've seen it time and time again. Somebody gets a raise of $10,000 for the year. Guess what they do? They go and buy a new car. They spend that money as fast as they got it. They go and upgrade their home. They renovate. They do things like that. That's history. That's the way that we do things here in the United States. But as we get more money and as we spend more money, prices increase. That's the way it works. Look at this, because recently I was purchasing something and I thought this was absolutely insane, but this is what people are paying. Look at this right here.
I need somebody to tell me why my husband went to purchase a 7-pack of underwear yesterday. He needs new underwear. Probably hasn't purchased them in years. You know how it is. Tell me why that package of underwear was $42. $42. I was flabbergasted. For 7 pairs of underwear. If I didn't believe before that inflation is real, I sure do now.
Yeah, $42. I paid a little bit over $50 for a 7-pack. Okay, it's insane. And these aren't made of silver and gold. It's just a normal pair. And it's absolutely insane. But again, I bring this up because this is why people are struggling. We keep on raising prices. Yes, tariffs have a little bit to do with it, but also labor costs. That's a big factor. And if more companies are producing here in the United States, prices are going up. We are going to see inflation, which is crazy that we are expecting to see inflation, but yet it's not showing in our inflation reports, at least not what we're seeing. I don't know. I'm not sure what to tell you because right now it is just spiraling out of control. But I want to play you another clip. Listen to this right here.
My paycheck was short $300. I can't pay my rent on time. My car insurance is past due. It's like over $300. My energy bill is past due and I've been paying little bits, and that's over $900.
$900 energy bill. Person just got their paycheck and they were shorted by about $300. This isn't something new. This is something that millions of Americans go through every single week. Where, yes, you have a job. Oh, great. But your employer's also cutting your hours little by little. Instead of working 40 hours a week, maybe you're working 37. And you're thinking, 37, no big deal, right? 3 hours, get a sleep in an extra, couple hours a day, right? No, that's really not the way it works. So let's say you get paid $20 an hour, right? It's a good wage. It's far more than the federal minimum wage, which is $7.25. Let's say you get $20 an hour. Perfect. You miss out on 3 hours a week. That's $60 per week. That's $240 a month that you miss out on. For many people, $240 is going to be their car insurance. $240 is going to be half of their auto payment. $240 is going to be just a small amount of their rent or their mortgage. $240 for an individual is probably what they're going to pay for food for 1 month. Yeah, you see why this is a problem. I want to play another clip though, because let's say you can't afford your apartment, you can't afford your mortgage. So what do? You find another place to live. I talked about this just the other day, and a lot of people are now going into RV dealers looking for a somewhat spacious RV that they can go and buy, and they can take it to an RV park and live. And I showed this, and I said that it's actually a great way to save some money because you can pay for something which is technically an asset, which as of right now, people are not buying RVs. Okay, just to be very clear, people are not rushing out to buy RVs to go camping. No, they're not doing that because an RV is technically a luxury. Okay, I have an RV, hardly ever use it. Now, with that said, people are going out and buying these so that they can live in them. They can take it down to an RV park it there for many months, and live in it. It's a great way. But here's something else people are doing when they are really stuck.
More and more people are really struggling here in the United States to put a roof over their head. A lot of people are not able to qualify for apartments or purchase homes. They're having a hard time. They are becoming homeless. And a lot of people are even finding more creative ways to try and keep a roof over their head. Some people are even looking at storage units.
A storage unit. And I showed this probably about 3 weeks ago, where people are living in storage units as opposed to trying to find an apartment because they can't afford it. And think about this for a second. You want to talk about unsustainable? Let's say you have to have $2,000 a month to pay for an apartment. Guess what most landlords want? They want your first month's rent, your last month's rent, and a security deposit. Normally, the first and last month are going to be the same, $2,000. Security deposit, likely $2,000 as well. So you're going to move into an apartment for $2,000, which $2,000 for many people is still too much. But you're going to do that, and so you decide, you know what? Yep, I'm going to do it. Now I got to pay the first, last, and deposit. That is $6,000 you have to pay up front. For most people, not going to happen. And so they turn to living in a storage unit, living in their car. More and more people are living in their cars. Okay, I talked to somebody just recently, him and his fiance now, but they started out dating, but they met because they were both living in their cars. Well, now they're dating, they're engaged. She ended up selling her car. He still has his. He has a Sienna or something like that. It's a van. And so they both live in it. And they're saving money, not for a wedding, but they're saving money so that they can afford an apartment. Once they get that apartment, then they'll look at saving money for their wedding. But I thought this was interesting because more and more individuals and younger couples are finding ways to save money. Living in storage units, living in an RV, living in their car or a van. Again, great option, but it's not for everybody. But here's the thing. Eventually you're going to get to that point where you are absolutely tired of whatever it is you're doing. You're tired of going into work 40 hours a week and being underpaid. You're tired of living in your car or living in an apartment that you know you're never going to get out of. Right? You are stuck. You're stuck right there. Listen to this though.
I work retail, and the general sense of just disdain and burnout and fatigue that is coming off of the general public is palpable. Like, it's ridiculous because prices just keep going up. They just keep going up, and people complain about them going up, but then nothing gets done about it. And you know what? They're going to continue to go up. They're just going to keep raising the prices because they can.
That is true. It's 100% true. That companies are going to continue to raise prices to make more money, but at the same time, it's because the American people keep on paying for the items. And again, I've been talking about this story for almost a year now. Been looking for a different car. Okay, been looking for a car, and I know everyone's gonna say now's not the time to buy one. It's a great time to buy a car. You just got to find the right deal. And that's what I want. I want a deal. So I've been looking for almost a year for a certain type of vehicle. And not an investment, not a fun car, just a second vehicle. Okay? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because most people are just going to go out there and buy something. Just go buy something. I get told all the time from friends of mine, from family members as well, you're still looking. You are still looking. It's almost been a year. Yeah. Because I haven't found the right deal. Most people don't care if prices are going up. They're going to buy. They're going to buy whatever it is, whether it's clothing, whether it's a vehicle, homes. Okay. I was listening to a friend of mine. He was telling me the other day that his brother or something like that, some family member of a friend of mine, ended up purchasing a house about 2 weeks ago. So he purchased a home about 2 weeks ago. Well, just actually the first of the month, so just a handful of days ago, that guy ended up losing his job. And he lost his job, but he just purchased his home just a few weeks ago. So now he's stuck. Okay? He is absolutely stuck. He's going to have to sell his pretty much everything out of his retirement portfolio, his 401k. He's going to have to liquidate it to ensure that he has enough money to pay for this home that now he cannot afford. His wife cannot afford the home. Okay? No way possible. But this is what's happening. People feel stuck, so then they decide to make a move. And then the move turns into a negative move. It's part of the issue. It's part of what's happening right now. Now I want to show you one other thing as well. Okay? There's this great video on TikTok. This guy goes over the cost of living here in the United States between 2021 and 2025. I want to play this for you, and then I want to talk about it. Look at this right here. And let me know your thoughts on this as well.
21, the median mortgage was $1,682. That's including taxes and insurance. Putting 2 children through child care, $1,600 a month. 2 used cars off of the lot, $400 a piece per month. That's $800 in total. I have gas at $180. I have student debt for one person in the household at $300 a month. Power at $149. Food at $650. Again, a young family, formula, all of that. $137 for your phone bill and $400 for your health insurance, giving you a total in 2021 of raising a young family in America in a household at $5,888 a month.
So right there, $5,888 a month. Now, when childcare is just as much as your home, that's concerning. But, the phone bill, that's pretty much going to be on par. Food, still expensive, but again, $650 a month, not impossible. College, $300 a month. Again, This is in 2021. Let's fast forward to today.
A month. 2024, the median mortgage is $2,660, including insurance and taxes. Putting 2 children through childcare is $2,300 a month in total. Used cars, $900 a month in total. Gas, $410 for now for both of those vehicles. Student debt, $400 for one of the people in the household. Power, $198 per month. Food, $900 per month. Again, young family. Phone, $150 per month, and health insurance up to now $500 a month, giving your total monthly expenses for getting started with a young family in America at $7,368.
So right there. So you are paying over the last 4 years, it's an increase about $1,500 per month. Now, here's the problem, okay? For all this, you would expect your wages went up substantially. However, they haven't. That is part of the issue. Wages have not kept up with inflation. As a result, people are further and further behind. This is why the cost of living here in the United States is unsustainable. Because we keep on paying for things we can't afford. We're maxed out on credit cards. We have too much debt, right? We're borrowing from our 401ks and retirement accounts. A friend of mine was just telling me the other day that he actually had to borrow against his whole life policy. Most people don't know what this is, but it just instead of term insurance, you get a whole life policy. You can use it as pretty much as your own personal bank. You can borrow against it, whatever. And he had to borrow against his whole life policy, which is a great thing to have. But did he really need to do it? Well, kind of, yeah, because he maxed out his cards. There was no way he could get a second mortgage on his home. Okay? They weren't going to lend him any more money. So getting a home equity line of credit was out of the question. He couldn't sell any more assets because he already sold one of his cars between him and his wife, and he sold a motorcycle or a dirt bike from his kid had just to pay for their bills. So this is the issue: is wages are not going up as fast as we need them to. But as we see wages start to pick up, guess what happens? All the other prices are going up because now more people can afford it. This is what we call the wage price spiral. I talked about this during the pandemic. Now, it's not technically coming back because wages are not going up as quickly as we're expecting, but prices are still going up. So, I will leave you with that, but keep in mind, economists are predicting this is going to get worse over the next 6 months before it gets better, likely in the first, second, or third quarter of 2026. So, buckle up. The next handful of months are going to be rough. So, I will leave you with that, but let me know your thoughts. Do you feel that the cost of living in your area and for your family is unsustainable, or are you doing just fine? Let me know down in the comment section below. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.